The morning sun peeked over the pines as I hauled the last cooler onto the porch of our remote mountain cabin. The scent of fir needles sharp in the cool air. Families from my old Army unit battle buddies I hadn't seen in years ambled in, swapping stories of deployments and daring rescues, laughing like kids on leave. The grill sizzled with smoked bratwurst and thick-cut steaks, and I felt that rare, unshakable peace of shared brotherhood. But as I arranged the final tray of corn on the cob, the distant roar of an engine snapped me back to reality. Down the gravel lane rolled an unmarked black SUV, its tinted windows glinting menacingly in the sunlight. Karen Duval emerged, clad in a cheap replica of a police uniform, badge pinned crookedly to her floral blouse. Two hulking accomplices flanked her, clipboards in hand. My heart sent her fake HOA cops to shut down our gathering before the first beer could be poured. My stomach twisted. Karen's vendetta knew no bounds. Deploying code red, she thrust a laminated notice at me. Unauthorized assembly. Cease and disperse immediately or face fines. Neighbors peeked from behind log cabins, eyes wide. Karen's son live-streamed her bravado to thousands, mocking our reunion as an illegal hoedown. My Marine brother's instincts kicked in. It was time for a counterstrike that would echo far beyond these pines. I stepped forward, arms wide, voice calm but firm. Karen, call your HO enforcers off my land and stand down. We're on private property with a valid permit filed 6 months ago. Do you have a court order? She sneered. Same difference. I enforce the state rules. No permits for grubfests. One flank labeled officer slithered forward until I barked. Touch one burger, and you'll regret it. Silence rippled through the clearing as I tapped my radio. Alpha, now. From behind the trees emerged a convoy of black Suburbans, each door opening to reveal uniformed veterans of my old company special forces. Rangers, combat medics all in civilian clothes but unmistakable in posture and resolve. The sight of my old unit, faces weathered and eyes steeled, sent a collective shiver through Karen's makeshift posse. The live stream erupted with stunned commentary. Is Tisan Army reunion? That was our first twist. Karen's fake badge had no power against the real warriors who'd once held fear at bay on foreign soil. Without missing a beat, my former platoon leader, Jim Hawk Hawkins, strode forward, clasped my shoulder, and addressed Karen's thugs. Folks, this is clearly outside your jurisdiction. You're trespassing on private property and impersonating law enforcement. Stand down. His voice carried the unspoken authority of a man who'd led missions in hostile territory. The phony officers glanced at each other, sweat beading on their foreheads, and retreated behind Karen, who waved her clipboard hopelessly. Hawk scanned the paperwork she'd thrust at him and laughed. No court stamp, no judge's signature, just sad drama. He tucked the notice into his pocket as evidence and announced, I suggest you leave before this becomes a federal impersonation case. Karen's protest died on her lips as the assembled veterans advanced, not threateningly but as a wall of resolve. The second twist, the unmasking of fake authority, by real defenders sealed the confrontation's dramatic arc. In the hush that followed, Karen's SUV engine sputtered to life, and she fled alongside her confused henchmen. My unit let out a collective cheer, and neighbors joined in, applauding the sight of unity overcoming entitlement. We fired up the grill again, the smoke curling like a benediction through the pines. Hawk cracked open a soda and said, Nothing like serving justice with a side of barbecue. Laughter erupted as plates were passed. The true spirit of camaraderie reaffirmed. That day, our orders were simple. Eat, remember, and defend what's right. By afternoon, local news helicopters circled overhead, drawn by the viral livestream and neighbor reports. Reporters jostled for footage of Karen's abandoned clipboard and our battle buddy brigade manning the grill. Headlines soon blared, fake cops foiled by real warriors, and HOA president outgunned at cabin barbecue. Yet beyond the spectacle, our gathering became a rallying cry. No self-appointed cop, real or fake, could trample on the rights of those who'd fought to defend their nation. As dusk settled and lanterns flickered across the lumber deck, I lifted a glass with my old unit. To the true brothers in arms and to neighbors who stand strong, I toasted. The wind carried laughter and clinking mugs into the forest, a promise that here, in this wild place, solidarity always prevails over entitlement. That evening, I typed the final lines of my Reddit post on entitled people. From fake badges to special forces, how an HOA stunt met its match at my cabin barbecue. Was calling in the cavalry the right move, or did it escalate too far? Share your verdict on right and wrong below. As I hit post, I watched the glow of the fire pit flicker against the faces of my brothers, confident that our story would inspire others to know when and how to stand their ground. Morning light tipped the pines gold as news of our cabin standoff rippled through Riverbend estates. Headlines riffed on our brigade's swift justice barracks to barbecue. Vets versus HOA tycoon. Yet beneath the hyperbole lay a deeper reckoning. Neighbors who'd once bowed to Karen's petty edicts now spoke openly of their rights and responsibilities, emboldened by the sight of real defenders of liberty protecting a humble feast. In the days that followed, the HOA board scrambled to reform. Under pressure, they rescinded all fines issued by Karen since her ascendancy and voted to bar any member from impersonating law enforcement, a policy named after the incident, the Battle Buddy Clause. They also increased transparency by requiring mandatory recording of enforcement actions, ensuring no future mischief could hide behind false authority. I attended the meeting, never raising my hand to speak, but lending silent support to every motion aiming to preserve neighborly trust. Meanwhile, my Army brothers, touched by the community's gratitude, launched a monthly Homefront Heroes cookout, inviting veterans and neighbors for shared meals and stories. Each event featured rotating duties on the grill. Ex-Marine sergeants taught kids to flip burgers with precision. Army medics bracketed the buffet with first aid demos. Special forces explained survival cooking. The twist transforming an act of defense into ongoing service wove our military bonds into the fabric of civilian life. In an unexpected turn, Karen herself attempted a comeback audition, mailing an apology letter printed on HOA stationery, inviting everyone to her home for a restorative tea party. Most neighbors tossed the notes into recycling. A handful attended with caution, only to find Karen alone, clutching teacups, tears streaming as she recounted her isolation once stripped of enforced power. Her vulnerability struck a chord. Some argued for compassion. We erected listening booths at the pavilion where former adversaries could speak and be heard. Karen signed off, her voice quavering as she admitted, "I hated being feared more than loved." The empathy shone another twist where reconciliation trumped retribution deepened our collective healing. On Veterans Day, the Homefront Heroes cookout coincided with an official ribbon cutting for the newly installed Battle Buddy Monument at the entrance to the cabin's driveway. Sculptor Tanner Hughes had chiseled two figures, one in civilian clothes with a spatula, the other in fatigues with rifle slung symbols side by side. Mayor Alvarez delivered brief remarks. Today we honor service, community, and the right to live free of intimidation. May this monument remind us all that unity and courage are our greatest defenses. Applause mixed with the scent of grilling steaks. As winter unfurled frost across our rooftops, Karen, under community supervision, joined volunteer teams clearing snow from elder neighbors' driveways, a far cry from wielding clipboards and phony badges. A small group extended cautious smiles as she worked. The gesture symbolized that restored bonds, however tentative, empower community beyond conflict. Spring's thaw heralded another reunion cookout, drawing families to the ranch like moths to a fire's warmth. I stood by the grill alongside my brothers, tongs in hand, smiling at children darting between tables. I realized our cabin's gravel driveway had become sacred ground, a place where entitlement was checked by courage, conflict begetting unity. That evening, I typed the closing lines on Entitled People Reddit. From phony police to platoon on the grill, how my Army unit defended our right to barbecue at the cabin. Was calling in the cavalry fair play, or did it amplify the feud? Weigh in on right versus wrong below. As I hit post, laughter and the clink of glasses echoed behind me, a living proof that solidarity, service, and the pursuit of justice remain the deepest ingredients of any lasting community meal.